it's just incredible what can be set up, hey, right from childhood, and then also the power though of our self-discovery to be able to recognize and then to move through and understand that in our bodies and the power of the ability to heal that as well. So yeah, it was really really heartening sharing in our classes yesterday. Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear too from my friends, that also reminds us of, the journey we've had too, going through these sessions many years ago. It was that how, especially when you are tired or you are in a mode of stress or, for example, anxiety, how the stories in your head and the patterns can actually really come through and play a really important role in your life. And um, this was something to raise with our families, to talk about, even realizing, how do we actually talk to our children right now? Or even better, how do we talk about our children when they are there or when they are not there too? Because the words don't carry just the meaning in a sense of, the cognitive meaning, but
Mm.
there's a lot of attitudes and beliefs that is attached to the way we speak about people. And just some of the examples we've had, Tinika, where, when you have children who appear to be shy, which can be often used,
Mhm.
well meant by family members or teachers or whoever, there is even strangers in public. And how interesting it is to look at it from a different perspective and saying, well, actually, he or she is just really watching, and she's just going to get all the information that she can get. Her observation skills are just incredible. So turning something that could be seen as a negative into real gift and positivity can change the self-esteem of that person. You know,
Absolutely. Yeah,
we
and there are parents who can completely describe how their personality that was shining through was negatively spoken about, and how that really became, stuck with them, became a stigma for them. Yeah, so there, like you say, if you can see what the gifts are in the dispositions and in the character traits, the temperaments, then uh, you are actually gifting something really amazing to your children, and you're their advocate in that. And I said, it's, you may have someone describe your child as something, or their behavior as something, for example, that they are naughty because they're heading for the china cabinet. And it's like, well, you know uh, you could turn around and have a big discussion with great Aunt Nellie that, your child is not naughty, they're just, interested in exploring. Um, yeah, or you can just really gently hold the mana of everyone in this, understanding the generational difference and the cultural difference, and the fact that you're that point of change, right? And that you can just say to your child, you're just really busy exploring and you can see that china and it's really attractive, isn't it? So you're explaining that to your child, and you're also in the presence of the adult, they are hearing what you're saying. And that was one of the recommendations for yesterday, to, you're changing the language right then and there, but you're also holding the relationship.
And the beauty of it is, when you're changing the discussions around, and the focus will become on the beauty of that human being rather than deficits, because it seems to be in our almost DNA, but we need to recreate a pattern of thought. The focus is, even with the children who are, for example, neurodiverse or unique in their own way, even the terminology says it's a deficit.
Mm.
ADHD or autism or sensory processing seems to be a negative experience or a label that gets attached to people. But what if we look at it from a different perspective and approach it with a real sense of curiosity? We are aware that children who have the label of ADHD, which is again deficit or disorder at the end of it, which I feel and I believe from reading so much now, even the medical field feels now that that needs to change, because the amount of creativity these people bring is just mind blowing, and they approach and see the world from a different perspective. And also with the sensory processing, right? They live in a world where senses are so alive that
Yeah.
everything makes a huge impression on them. Where, on the other hand, the people who are more the neurotypical, those senses might have quieted down. They are not as visible, and we forget to see the true beauty of what is around us, or feel the true beauty of everything around us. So I would encourage everyone to look at everything from a positive perspective, look at the gifts, and how can you bring up the manner of this child by focusing on the gifts and also working on the areas that they need help and support with, but with the main focus on the gifts, because that plays a crucial role in their life. And not even their life, the life of their parents and family members and
Yeah.
people around.
It makes a difference for everyone, doesn't it? When it's from that perspective. Yeah. And it
Absolutely.
doesn't mean that it's not challenging, right?
Oh, goodness.
And there's not, that there's going to be those days that just yeah. And but you know what? It doesn't, that's, days are challenging no matter what with any human. and relationship and learning going on, right?
Absolutely.
And I think the thing is that what's coming through really clearly now is how, we talk about, we're so concerned about children's development and growth, but what is happening actually is the parent is going through the biggest growth and development ever in their lives with any child that is in their care. Yeah, and so, but then, it's interesting as well. Hey, what is then provoked? What is coming from your own childhood experiences? And I know we've spoken about this, but when we speak about it around the words that were said to us and the tapes that were made in our heads at that time that still play over and over again, where is the power for that change when you recognize, oh my goodness, this is something that happened for me in my childhood. I don't want it to happen for my children, and it's not going to, because this is the way I'm going to come to this. But what happens for you? Where is your healing in this as well? That's the thing for me that just has been a really big process for me as well. It's like, wow, I really understand myself so much better, but then how do I change some of these things that are actually ticking around in here?
Mm-hmm.
And also creating response right through my body. So, yeah, there's a lot of interesting possibilities out there for that, right, Yana?
There is, and we just had this discussion before we came here to join you all, and I've looked at it from the perspective, of Rudolf Steiner, and it was very interesting how you can use very simple exercises, especially during very stressful times in your lives where perhaps anxiety is coming through, and you can change with these exercises just your way of responding to the stress and the words that are coming through around you. And just some of the example was just even consider changing your handwriting. Just adjust it slightly so it looks different, because you will need to start engaging your hands and even thought as well, but you will also bring some beauty forward too at the same time, because you might discover something new about yourself. And with a simple thing like this, just for example, you're doing italic, just go straight, or just even do a little circle instead of dot on the top of the letters. That's something I've been doing. And it's very interesting how you stop yourself. And you really need to bring yourself to that moment that you are actually writing and be fully aware of what you're doing. So I thought that was a fabulous example. And then the second one was, just to give you a few, changing habits again. So, for example, you hop into the car if you're driving, and then when you're coming out of the car, use the other leg to hop out. So again,
Oh, wow.
I tend to go out with the right always. Well, maybe most of us do. But now I stopped myself, shifted my body, and used my left leg to step out. And it just feels very different in my body as well. And it brings on playfulness and lightness as you
I
juggle
like that. Yeah.
which one's
Yeah.
coming out. So that's been really helpful, for example, for me. So something like this to consider. And then, one of the last ones was, which is engaging more the I, which is who we are. It's dealing with wishes and weighting up the decision. So, for example, you really wish for something. Let's say you wish to have, I don't know, throw something at me, Tina. I don't know. Let's say you wish to have coffee today. This is a really good example. But I
A
hope you
big bowl of
understand.
chippies.
Yes, understand where we're going with this. Cup of nature. So let's have hot
Yeah.
drink, right? And that's the one. And, with your wishes, yes, you wish that because it feels good and nourishing. And let's say you always go for coffee, but then wait out, what is that going to do in your body if you have too much coffee? So would it be better to go for that tea and sort of do the balancing act? Which one is it going to be? So you're almost really weighing up the decision too, and really looking at your wishes, but these could be more significant to you as well. And just by doing that, again, you're shifting a little bit of that ego in your body too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love all those ideas.
Isn't it just so
Yeah.
simple and so
Yeah.
playful? And it will bring you out of possibly that stress mode, because you will really need to be fully present in that moment, as
Yeah,
you bring your
absolutely.
body and your heart and also your head into
Mm.
these exercises.
Yeah,
So
because some people say they find it very hard to sort of move consciously, and just those tiny little changes, they kind of force you into it. So yeah, I love that. And it also just stops you being stuck in this really in a groove, right? And I think we it's interesting, isn't it, as well, because I feel like neurally the brain can get a bit bored or something like that, and it can focus on areas that are maybe uh, sort of not, can become quite unhealthy. So it's kind of like, there's a lot of exercises out there, right? Just for fun, just to kind of like keep challenging. I know, my family have been stuck on Wordle. That's been their big thing, is doing the daily Wordle. Some of you might connect with that. But yeah, I really did spend a few hours doing quite a bit of research last week actually, and came across some really good exercises on YouTube around uh, physiology and being able to sort of to shift neural patterns as well. And I think this is the thing that we kind of keep disconnecting the neural and our tinana, like our, this is our body and this is what it does and it digests and this is kind of a separate sort of entity, or this is in control, right? But really what was coming through quite strongly from some of these much more qualified practitioners was that the body has, is set up and will be sending messages back up that will keep you in that pattern as well. So if you can change things physically and do resets physically, then you are sending those messages back up that are actually going to make permanent change as well. So you might have stories, tapes in your head that you're finding it hard to release and to heal, and actually in moving your body responses to that, you're going to move things neurally as well. And it's just incredible how interconnected it is, and there's a lot around now with the vagal nerve and really simple resets that you can do lying down on the floor. And I told this to mamas yesterday because, lying down on the floor with your babies is such a great thing to do anyway. But you put your hands behind your back like this, crossed, and lie like that. And then you look, you don't turn your head, but your eyes shift to 3 o'clock, and you just hold it there, that vision going that way until you sigh, swallow, or what was the other one? Yawn. And it gives you a reset. And I tried it on my husband and he got a little bit impatient and he sort of started to stop it before it happened. But the funniest thing was he kind of went, oh, I'm gonna, like stop. And he went to get up and he did the most huge yawn. And I was like, gotcha. So yeah, things like that. Like if you go on, there's an amazing woman, Suki Baxter, who's like I think a yoga therapist as well, and there's a lot of talks on there around physical resets and responsive messages that your body is able to tell you and to show you that you are safe, or to release some of these things that might be stuck for you. Yeah.
This was really helpful, Tinika. I try that myself too. It would be also really good to hear from you all what works and what doesn't.
Yeah. Well, one of our beautiful mamas yesterday shared that your face into icy cold water for as long as you can bear it is a vagal nerve reset as well. And I mean, it doesn't sound as pleasant, but she said it is incredibly powerful if you can bear it. And I think it's this part that really actually needs to get into the cold water.
Speaking of that as well, Tinika, it's having a very cold shower in the morning. It's something that's helpful too.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, they say that's really good for immunity as well. Hey, yeah. So, and resilience. It's not my choice.
It is
I think I'll just go with the lying back with my arms like this. But yeah, definitely one of the beautiful playful things that this amazing woman, Uta Strub from Germany, who worked with Dr. Emmy Pickler, she's so playful, still in her 90s, still alive and so playful. But one of the things that she did in a online workshop with us was your face into a bowl of water, and a warm bowl of water, not cold, but how you can explore that with your skin and with blowing bubbles and things. Oh my gosh, it is so much fun. I can highly recommend that for something playful to do. And if you've got toddlers and children, take a couple of bowls outside and go for it, because it just, yeah, it's an incredible sensory experience.
Just be really, really there, fully present when your child is putting their head under the water.
Oh yeah, they'll drink some of it and snort some of it, I'm sure.
Make sure that the head goes out quickly as well for breathing in here.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah. So
have
lots to think about, hey, but also lots to feel as well, and just really encourage you because I know that as a mother at home, I did suffer more anxiety. You know, you are alone often in your thoughts for a very big period of the day, and usually this would not be the case. You'd be in, you know, community, not in single dwelling, separated parenting. And so I think to understand that that's actually not normal for us as humans, and then to address that when you need to, is I just really encourage you to reach out and to connect with people if you're at all feeling this way, and just be really honest and vulnerable, because you know, it really is important for you, your health, and your baby's health as well, that you would, you know, address that and reach out for help. Yeah.
so reach out for help and have a wonderful Friday, and we will see you again.
Yeah.
Ka kite ano.